Hey there, Brianna Beveridge from Your Beautiful Balance, giving you mindful tips for a beautifully balanced life. Today I'm going to talk about, I think it's one of my favorite subjects because everybody has these misconceptions about meditation. So today I'm going to talk about the 10 biggest myths to meditation. Last night I was just talking about that. I heard all these people talk about what they thought meditation was, and I was just cringing. But the truth is, I thought the same things, even though I'm a very well-seasoned meditator. When I first started, I ran against those same exact things. So without any further ado, I'm going to give you the top 10 myths connected with meditation. And these aren't in any order, and they're not in any significance. They're all about equally the same because you probably think one of these or multiple. So one of them is you have to sit cross-legged and like this and chant Om to be a really good meditator or to practice meditation. That's completely not true. It's a myth. Now, you can sit cross-legged and with your hands resting on your knees, with your hands in this position to chant, and that's just one way. There's so many ways, which is why I love talking about it, because there's so many ways to practice meditation, not only one way. And usually, after you practice one way, you learn if that's for you or not. But there's so many ways. You don't have to start off that way either if it's too complicated for you at all. So that is not the only way. There are many, many ways to practice meditation. Number 2, you have to empty your mind completely to be able to meditate. That has not been my experience, and that is another myth, because when I was doing yoga teacher training, they call it monkey mind, right? So your mind just jumps around from vine to vine, just next thought. And in order to do meditation, a myth is that you have to clear out all those thoughts. And if you've tried to do it that way, it's exhausting. It's completely exhausting. So, what I suggest to do is when your mind goes crazy, breathe. I have another video that talks about the best breathing techniques. And it's okay that your mind wanders. It's okay. That's what your mind does. What you're really concentrating on when you're starting to do meditation is your breath. Just continue to breathe. And your mind can do whatever it wants. And sometimes you tame it during meditation and sometimes you don't. But it's not to keep you from having a meditative practice. The third one is there are only a few ways to meditate. There are so many ways to meditate. That is a myth. There's not only a few ways to meditate. The only reason you're meditating is to get to have presence, to be within the present moment. So sometimes I meditate in the morning and I am totally there, and then I lose it. And I am in the past and the future. But a lot of times when I meditate, it helps me stay in the presence. So there's not just one or two ways that get you to be in the present moment. This is why I also teach mindfulness, because there's many ways. There's not one road. One of the teachers, Swami Satchidananda, told me when I said, well, which religion is the right religion? Like, which one are you supposed to do that gets you I like to do quicker, faster, better. And he said, my dear, all roads lead to Rome. Which means there's a lot of practices that lead you to the presence and the calm and the peace that you desire. There's not just one way. Another myth, there are certain times to meditate. When I was first initiated into the meditation sciences, what I was taught is that there is a more auspicious time to meditate. And that time, and it's a pretty universal time, is between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. And a lot of people who do meditation, that is a really auspicious time to meditate. There's a different way that the earth is quiet during those hours and all that. But here's the thing. It's not the only time to meditate. It's one of, but you can meditate at your desk. If you are feeling stressed out and you need to have some presence, you can meditate while you're gardening your back or watering your backyard garden. There's so many different ways, but narrowing it down to just certain time, certain day, certain way is just a way to make sure that you are not expanding. And that's the real goal of meditation, is to expand. Okay, number 5, after you meditate for a while, all your problems go away. I love this one because I did this for years. I thought, I'm really deep. I meditate from 3 to 5. Well, actually it was 4:30 to 6:30. So, or 5:30 to 7:30. I thought I was really deep, and all my problems would go away because, don't you know, I was doing yoga and meditation. I was tithing 10% of my day, blah, 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 saying all these certain chants and blah. And the truth is, my life kept on happening. But I was more peaceful and those kind of things. But what the deal with presence is that you only get it in the present. And I was trying to do the meditation the right way so that I basically didn't have to do it again. And meditation doesn't work like that. It does build up a bank of happiness, joyful, free clarity. But if I'm doing it to get something done, I've defeated my purpose. If I'm practicing a meditative practice on a regular basis, I'm able to give myself freedom. No matter what time of day, no matter what practice, but whatever works for me, I'm able to give myself that kind of freedom. Number 6, I should see something when I meditate. Now, like I told you, when I was very deep, and I was doing it at the perfect right time. I was meditating from 3 to 5, and I had this certain mantra and blah, blah, blah. So it was a really great time. And I did see things. And then as soon as I was like, oh, look at that, it would disappear. And it still happens today, some long time later. And what I had to learn how to appreciate is I would see, and still today, sometimes I see things, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I hear things, sometimes I don't. But I had to be committed to the practice of awareness within the moment. Because sometimes I sit down to meditation and I hear nothing and I see nothing, but I see clues throughout the day, and I can hear differently. I'm taking in information differently, and it's what I'm doing is to be present, to hear, feel, listen in the moment. So that's another myth. Number 7, some people are better at meditation than others. I've been practicing for a very long time, more time than, more than half my life. And I would say that I've practiced a long time, but I don't know that I'm better than anybody else. I know that I have a lot of tools that I can fall back on, and I've studied for a very long time. But how you get better, anybody gets better, you just get one day at a time. If you are a runner and you take, a year off, you got to start over and, running and start at the beginning. It's the same way with meditation, except that the biggest hurdle with meditation is your thoughts. And it's the same with, running or whatever. But the difference between meditation and running is that when you start over, you do have to climb through those initial 30 days of, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? I don't know. But you remember what that calmness is. And that's what runners feel. They remember what that feeling has felt like for them. And when you pick it back up, or when you start it, just giving yourself the allowance of, I'm doing just as good as I need to do. I don't need to be better than somebody. I don't need to talk about my deep and spiritual experiences, which, I used to do a lot of. But I get to just have the practice that works for me. And number 8, meditation awakens psychic powers. That has also not been my experience. However, I am more intuitive. I am, I have 2 empathic children, and that's a lot. And what happens is I do get to be more sensitive. I do get to practice kindness, patience, because I'm clear on some emotional things. I get to feel emotions today. I don't hide them behind anger, controlling, that kind of thing. I get to feel my feelings today. It hasn't given me psychic powers because I don't think I was born with that, but I do have a heightened sense of intuition. And how that intuition works for me is, how do I work with people, when and who to work with, how to work with somebody. When you walk into a room, everybody can feel like, whew, this is not good, or oh my gosh, this is welcoming, this is amazing. So all of us have that ability, and it does get opened up in a safe way. Your intuition does develop when you just practice meditation. Number 9, you have to sit on the floor with crossed legs to really meditate. That's not been my experience either. Sometimes I sit in a chair, depends on where I am. If I'm flying, I definitely do a meditation. There's a Sata Nama. There's one that I do that I know that one of my clients used to fly, because she's a very nervous flyer. You don't have to be cross-legged. You can be sitting in a chair as long as you have the ability to breathe freely. You can pretty much, I wouldn't do it driving, because a lot of people say, well, can I meditate when I drive? No, you can practice presence when you're driving. So you can be in your car and not where your destination is, but just don't practice meditation while you're driving. But a lot of other places you can, like I said before, at your desk, before you start any workout, just use your breath, do 3, 5, or 10 breaths. And that can be a micro meditation that just brings you to the present moment. Okay, number 10. Oh, and I have a bonus one too. Number 10, your mind has to be clear for you to get the benefits of meditation. Also, a myth. If that had to be true, I was a nervous wreck. And the only reason I went to meditation is because my doctor said, I think you have anxiety. And I thought I was having a heart attack in my 20s. And he said, no, you have anxiety. And it wasn't as popular a long time ago as it is now. So I thought I was just crazy. I know he used those words, anxiety. I interpreted them as, I'm just supposed to be losing my mind. And I wasn't willing to take any medication for it. So a friend had suggested yoga, and that when I did Savasana, the truth is I fell asleep the first time. It was just like I moved my body so that I could have a great sleep. But as I started to do more and more yoga and get teacher training and a couple of yogas, the meditation part really was what centered me, calmed me, and then all this science started coming out about how great it is. And one of the yogas I got certified in had a lot of, not medical, but it had a lot of health benefits with glandular, all these things. And I got to know more about the science of meditation and yoga and how it really helps your body. So none of it started with a clear mind, and you don't have to be like totally centered before you start meditation. You can be totally wacky crazy like I was and still get the benefits. That's the amazing part of meditation and yoga. And the last one, the bonus one, is when I do meditation the right way, I will no longer get angry or experience any bad emotions. Again, that's not been my experience. However, when I do practice meditation on a regular basis, or even if I skip, a few days a week, I don't have as lingering of the hangover from not meditating and from being angry, the hangover from sadness. And for me, anger is one that I used to love to hang on to, and control, which is another form of anger. I used to really hold on to that. I kind of do now, but not to the degree I did before. And it's, it resolving in a day or an hour versus weeks and months, because I used to have a resentment and cuddled that thing for a long time. Now through meditation, I haven't had to do that. And you don't get free of them. You actually get to experience your emotions. And that's something I didn't know how to do before practicing meditation. I was sad. Well, be sad for 5 minutes and then let's move on. but it kept seeping out in other ways, with anger, controlling, passive aggressiveness. And what happened for me is that, the evolution of the practice of meditation really helped me feel my feelings and be in the present moment more, so that it was safe to feel my feelings. And it still is safe to have these emotions of sadness, of grief, if I need to have grief, if I need to be angry about something, and not just mask it with other things. Numbing myself with television, numbing myself with food, numbing myself with gossip. So anyway, those are I thought it was 10, but it's 11 biggest myths of meditation. So I cannot wait to hear or be asked what your myths that you have about meditation are. What are your questions? Leave them below and I will answer them. And I wish you the best practice. I've got some things coming up. I'm improving, branding, all this stuff with my website, working with an amazing person. So that's coming soon. But email me at brianna@beverage.me and I would be happy to answer your questions via email. And go ahead and subscribe so you can find out more about the myths and actual meditation practices. And in September, I have 3 cool people. Well, I might just do 1 a month, but people that I'm interviewing, and I can't wait you to meet these people. They are incredible, and how they do mindfulness and their experiences with meditation. So anyway, Brianna Beverage of Your Beautiful Balance, teaching you beautiful balance and a mindful life. I am so grateful to have this time with you today, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye.